I ain't got no time to waste, man, I've been down for so long. It ain't nothing been the same since that day I lost my dog. Stay up on your pivot game, cause they profit off your fall. Talking to my higher self, I wanna be you after all. And I'm forever 22, because my spirit live on. I was down, but I got back, because my spirit too strong. Do this shit, no pen, no pad, why my lyrics so raw. And I was playing way too safe, I gotta get this shit my own.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Cyvert Podcast, and I have two special guests who are my parents, and I'll just have them introduce themselves real quick. Just tell me your name, what you do, and then I'll ask y'all an icebreaker question. But so good.
Okay, my name is Ed Flagler. I'm a disabled vet, military, Navy, and that's pretty much it.
It's C. Flagler. I work at UNC in clinical research.
Clinical research. Okay, cool. And one icebreaker question I can go ahead and ask y'all is, what's your favorite thing about people?
That is not an icebreaker question for me. That's like deep. What's your favorite thing about people?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a people person. So,
So, what's wrong?
yeah, I think, and this is right off the dome, it's feedback. I think, people will give you feedback. Even though we know when we talk later in life things, you gotta have feedback in order to know what you're doing. But I like the feedback, and I'm a conversationist, so I like talking. And even though I don't have to have anybody there to talk, but I like the feedback.
And I believe that just the fact that they're different, it's everybody's different, and so there's always a challenge or something that you meet with each different person. So it's never the same. So it's something that you can never you can always look forward to, but you can never kind of predict how the situation would actually turn out.
Okay. That's good. It's good. I like that. Those are two good answers. I'll say my favorite thing about people's that it's always something new. Like, just even if you know somebody for a long time, it's always something new that just come up. You're like, wow. Like, either if it's like surprising in a good way or surprising in a bad way. I feel like this. I think my favorite thing is always something new. It's never just vanilla. Pretty much. I think I can agree. I think that's mine. Really. So we're gonna jump right into it. Talking about humanity. Today. Really There's a broad topic when you talk about it. There's a lot of things that go on. Complicated people. So first question I got here is in what ways does greed challenge the foundational principles of humanity, like compassion and empathy?
You go first.
Well, I believe greed for itself is about being selfish. So it's in that manner, it means that you're not looking out for nobody else, really, or you're not thinking about the future as well. So everything you're doing is for you or for your people at that time, in which it's not for humanity, which means that, the world wasn't evolved or shaped or formed for just one people. So I don't think it would last long, So.
Yeah, I agree. I was just going to say the impact would be, it's almost like if you wanted to really go a little bit deeper into that in terms of the impact it could really almost be a positive or a negative. It just depends on the situation. If we're talking about Earth now, obviously it's going to be negative. But if you're talking about an Earth that was not what's happening now, that could probably work. Everybody for themselves, if we're talking about greed, right? Because it's selfish, right? It's that whole, the gain of personal gain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, in that sense, when I say it could be a negative or positive, we all know, yes, greed is, a huge, negative or a con. But there are positive kind of, you can be greedy in terms of, I always, would say, when I was training, personal training. And it's a selfish sport, you know what I mean? Because you all for you. That gain is that personal gain, you know what I mean? So you greedy. I'm going to get this. I'm going to do what I'm going to do if it's, whatever it is that you kind of want.
Yeah.
So some things you have to be greedy in, You know what I mean? Just depending upon what career maybe, or, you know, I think what happens is the greed gets really awful when we apply it to the humanity part and the characteristics of, you know, us as humans. You know what I mean? And then we'll apply it to the, you know, it comes with the, you know, how they say the money and what is it, yourself, and I don't want to say love, but keep on, you know, I'll probably go off this topic in a minute.
I mean, no, I think those are both really good answers. I say greed really does challenge when it comes to like, you know, empathy and compassion and having just like overall just overall I guess love for, you know, humanity. I think greed really does combat that. You say you think about like, you know, me, you know, or us. That, you know, a lot of people think greed is just like a selfish thing, but it's more like you can be selfish with, you know, say like your family. You know, you can be like selfish family. You know what I mean? Now it's not me. It's us, and that's it. You know what I mean? You know, we're going to, you know, be greedy about what we have and what we're trying to build. So look at it like when it comes to compassion, you know, and having empathy for others. I feel like greed really does kind of just dole those, you know, principles and those feelings that you can have towards other people. Like, you know, and I remember talking, and I had a conversation talking about with the true like definition of compassion. I think I did a paper on it, and it was really like when you have compassion for somebody, you don't just actually it was in church. When the preacher was talking about compassion, preacher was talking about compassion and was saying like when you see somebody down and they're in a certain situation, you don't just sit there and be like, oh, like I care for you in that situation. You want to pull them out of that situation. So you're not just going to sit there and watch them and be like, oh my gosh, and you know, you can be like, what can I do? Yeah, I'm gonna pray for you. What can I do to, you know, help you out of this situation? And I feel like when you know are greedy, you don't want to do that anymore. You just kind of see them. Oh, okay, keep moving. You know what I mean? So I feel like, and you tie that in, you know, into empathy. I feel like both of those kind of work together a little bit, where I just feel like you need that to be able to, you know, see somebody and not stop to help them and actually care to not just help them out of that, but make sure that they don't end up in that situation again. Make sure they're better off after you left them, really. But I know that was a little deep there, but no, that I think that's really my my answer to that question. And then the second question I have is it's pretty hard question to sit there, you know, sit with, but like do you think that humans, you know, inherently deserve like the earth, considering like the impact that, you know, like I said, greed has on just, you know, balance and sustainability? I mean, just look at, you know, what we're doing to the world now.
Right.
You know, do you think that do we deserve to be here?
Did I go first last time? You remember last time? Well, the question is, do I think we, you know, humans, deserve to inherit the earth? So it's yes or no.
Yeah.
Right? And then of course you could ask why. I had pondered on this question and was like, wow, that's a deep one. Cause I kind of want to say yes, you know, but then it's like, back to your first question with the greed and how we mistreat, you know, when it comes to the greed, how we can mistreat the earth. Then like, no.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, oh, this is a yes or no question. But then I can answer yes or no. So I really don't know. If you want a yes or no, you can come back to me and maybe Ed can do it.
Well,
Because I say yes, I say no.
well, I think it's a twofold answer.
Yeah,
obviously, you know.
yeah.
But I originally would say that humans inherit the earth.
Right.
You know, God gave the earth to humans to subdue and to work or
Right.
whatever. So as the years have gone and progressed, we haven't worked it properly. So do we actually deserve to get what we've been given, but we haven't taken care of? You know, that's the question. You know, do you deserve to give your child something they didn't deserve? You know, so even though they don't take care of it properly, do we still have to say yes and say, hey, yeah, the humans deserve it? Who else can he give it to, though? Who else can inherit the earth that will actually be able to work it?
Does it need to be work?
See, yeah, that's not really good. Yeah, it's like going down the rabbit hole. Like,
Right.
and I know you want to maybe have an answer, Mom, but like that to your point, I think that's real because we were given the earth to work it, but I don't think we were given the earth to destroy it like we're doing now.
Right.
And then like I was really when you said that, and I was thinking as like say you give your kid a car and they go again, they beat it down, they don't do nothing with the tire, they don't keep up with it, now do you deserve, that car anymore? You know what I mean? You would say, yeah, because, I did so-and-so to get it, or maybe you did nothing to get it, so now did you deserve it in the first place? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to look at it. So it's kind of like, like you said, twofold. But I think you kind of look at it from maybe like a broad point of view, or at least even, how I look at it. I feel like, yes, we were given the earth, and here we are, we're working it, and I feel like we probably did deserve it, but now we don't anymore. So I feel like that can be that, that deserving part can be, a yes or no thing that you can lose. And when it comes to like, if we're not here, maybe I feel like all the other life that's here, I feel like they'd be thriving without us, they'd be thriving, just before we were here, they was thriving. So.
Right. What I was going to say, really, back to what you were saying, do we deserve what you just said? What David was saying, really, in sense of God created, the heavens and the earth, and God created man, we are really going back to the earth.
Right.
I mean, so that answer is really like, we're going back to the earth. So,
Deserve.
yeah. Right.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I think the answers are, it's already really been answered.
Yeah.
But, in sense of if you put a spin on it, and what I was thinking about in terms of saying, yes, we deserve to inherit the earth, the rabbit hole is based upon certain principles, but we could put it under the line of science and be like, the earth is a star, the star will eventually die.
Planet.
The planet is a star and it will eventually die, so however many years, put millions, trillions, billions on that.
Yeah.
So that's what I say, it's like a rabbit hole, and then it's just it could be so many variables, I would say,
Well, how about this?
to answer that question.
How about this to stir it up a little bit more? Because it was a gift in the beginning, it doesn't matter what happens to the gift at the end.
Right, absolutely.
Doesn't matter how you treat it, how you take care of it, but don't take care of it. It's a gift.
So that's the yes. So it doesn't matter because at the end it was a gift. It doesn't matter, and then again, it will eventually die. However you want to look at it,
Right.
The earth, you know what I mean.
So
the
you
gift
can't
was
compare the gift now
Right.
that was given to
Right.
the gift now and how it looks later on.
Yeah.
right.
That makes sense.
Especially using the example that you gave, if you gifted your child a car
Yeah.
and they tear it up, we gifted it your car to tear up,
That's true.
your car to take care of.
Okay.
And it was our earth to take care of it.
That's right,
And
yeah.
we didn't take care of it, so
I mean,
we shouldn't
Nah.
be gifted another one.
Yeah, we should be good. Now, should we be gifted eternal life though? Now
Right.
you go.
I guess that's based upon what you did. You helped
Right.
cause
we
it.
had
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
had eternal life.
Yeah, right. So let's not necessarily moving right along, but let's come back out the rabbit hole a little
Okay.
bit. So, all right, when looking at humanity as a whole, are you surprised at the way we are? Like, just looking at it as a whole in a very broad spectrum. Are there any surprises to see like the way we act and as a whole?
No, I'm not. Just because we're religious people and the Bible speaks about, so many things that God has done to really move for his will to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And his will is going to be done no matter what evil has stacked up against it. So what's happening is, as evil is stacking up against his will, he's going to still make progressions to make it get done. But as the Bible showed also, that their evil comes in different ways, and sometimes it's delayed by what he has force because there's so many different things that they can fight through. Now with the technology, everything is faster. People are less believers. There's probably more things to fight now or whatever. So just kind of goes in that direction.
Yeah. You ain't got no answer, Mo?
I did, but
Well, I would say I am a little surprised because I mean, you know, we watched plenty of movies before.
Yeah.
We watched some of them that take place way back when or take place, way in the future, and I always like to think about, Mesopotamia. I always think about, my teacher, Mr. Smith. He's always talk about, how life was, trading and it's the first, and how do we get into bartering and money and all that. I always think about like how peaceful it must have been, when the first people on Earth. How it could have just been, go and get your food and boom or whatever. But then out of nowhere, somebody was like, "Ooh, you want that? I got that. I want that now." You know what I mean? Or you got that, I want that. And from there, the fighting really started. I got this. You got that, I want that, or oh, I got this. Maybe I should give this to somebody else. It just kind of became like that that power struggle and the bargaining and money came into point. So I always think like I'm very surprised at how like destructive we have became and how I guess we kind of strayed away from relationships as well. Like we're a social being, and I feel like back then it was all you had to do was be social. You just be social, communicate, and now it's like you don't really communicate nothing but violence. It's like it always kind of always gets to a point where it's violence is now the communication of what I'm feeling. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like the focus has changed. I was reading today where the Bible talks about how the kingdom is set up, and then you have the temple, you have the people that's in the temple or the church folks or whatever, and they go out to the community and bring more folks in or whatever. It's just an operation like that. Well, the operation is still the same. It's just now God is not at the top of the temple. So now something else that's running, technology that's running, money is running it. So now people are trying to race in different directions, but they just, skewed the other way.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, back to your question on, are we surprised how humans or how humanity has not come about, but how we act or whatever. But it's, I was gonna say, who told you were surprised? What's surprising? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it like to ask the question. So it's like, you don't think about it, in that sense of why are you surprised? You're surprised because something was taught to you that things should go a certain way, right? Or, it shouldn't be that, thou not steal, you shouldn't do these things, right? So now you're sort of, when that happens, you have a trauma, and then we're just like, oh, I'm surprised. And what it reminds me of this, and the example I was thinking about, I always talk about how the girl, when I was swimming with my grandma, and she took us to pull apart, and the girl stole my towel. Right. So, but here's the thing, I was already surprised because I was hurt. I had like, how dare her? Because I watched her, when she took it, and I confronted her, thinking like, she knows this is mine. Cause this is the first time this has happened to me. So I'm like, she's got to know. And I'm like, no, no. Hey, that's my towel. She says, no, it's not. So now we got a lie. Like, no, I just watched, this is my towel. You know what I mean? So now I have the level of being, so, can I say I'm going to be surprised when somebody lies or steals and does that? No. Now I've just been taught that, that now I will be, I won't be surprised. Yeah. For that particular, until you have something happen to you. That's the whole thing where they get into, all men cheat. Did it happen to you? The person that it didn't happen to, they're not going to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So that element of surprise is like, who told you were surprised? How do you know you're surprised until you taught that or experience something that's now going to surprise you? But based on, what we know as Christians, that's why we can say, oh, I'm surprised they're a Christian. How they act like that? How dare them? You know what I mean? Because the commonality of what Christians are supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I answered the question.
No, you definitely answered it. That was really good. So now I want to shift a little bit, but kind of want to go. This the last question really kind of talking about greed is, how does the presence of greed within humanity challenge our collective responsibility to preserve and protect Earth? That's a loaded question.
Right. Go back to the latter part.
How does the presence of greed within humanity challenge our collective responsibility?
Our collective
To
responsibility.
preserve and protect Earth.
Okay, wait a minute. Go back to the beginning.
So how does greed challenge our collective responsibility?
Because you're selfish. If we're going back to the sense of what the root of greedy is, you're selfish. How are you going to preserve it? And it's almost like you can preserve if this is the earth and everybody was for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Treating people, whatever. Everybody for themselves. They're greedy just for themselves. You know what I mean? Who's to say it's not being preserved? Because they're only feeding them, like every individual. And it sounds crazy, but I kind of see things in a visual sense, but yeah, if you think about it that way, it may be okay. But if we take it and say, hey, you know what, you being greedy, you stealing, just hogging everything, we can't really, make this, make it work and preserve the earth like we can because we're being so selfish and we just hogging it. If we put everything together, and we all know that putting stuff together does work, for the better. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
The greed challenges progress.
Yeah, it would definitely challenge it.
Definitely, I got some notes. Our infrastructure, we would complain about who's setting it up. Who do we follow? We're already political parties. The infrastructure is already messed up, so it will be hard to find a way to, I guess, progress through greed. And it's separate. Greed just separates. It doesn't unite anybody together. It just divides everybody because you either have or you have not. Mm-hmm. And then, you're connected through that source or whatever. So, I just believe that the infrastructure of greed, it just I guess promotes more division.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, because you're selfish and you're separated.
Okay, so now I got two questions to go with that. I'll ask the second one after your answer though. So, what is you guys' definition of greed? Not necessarily, but so we said it's selfishness and staying on. But what do you think is the definition of greed, and what is, your opinion? I can go first with me too.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think greed. It's not only just kind of like I said, worrying about yourself. It can be like an us thing. Said that earlier, but I also think it's one thing to be kind of like hogging things, but it's another thing to want more. Mm-hmm. So we talk about money. These rich folk, they're greedy with the money because they're not. Yeah, they have it. They're hogging. They're really hogging all the money. But they're not like, oh, I'm good. I'm chilling here. No, they want more. They keep investing more. They keep trying to find ways to make more money. Right. They're already hundreds of billion. They're multi-billionaires. Right. They want to be a trillionaire. So it's like, I talk about the greed. This is not just I'm hogging it. I'm not selfish. Not just selfish about it, or I'm not selfish about my family or the people around me. It's like I want to create more, and I don't want to even give it to anybody else. That's my thing.
Well, I believe also greed is in anything there has to be a limit. Where's the ceiling? Mm-hmm. So if you're chasing money, there has to be a ceiling somewhere where there's a cap where you're saying, okay, mm-hmm. I'm done chasing now. And as well as what are you doing with that? Mm-hmm. Are you chasing the money to give it back, or are you chasing it to do for yourself? So it's that greed, or because some people could be, all they do is you got people who little fundraisers and ride bicycles or whatever, or different things across the world, you know, and do different things of that to raise money for a cause or whatever. Is that greed because they stopped and donated their entire living to that cause now? It may be greed in a certain way because what they gave up or something, you know, or what they're doing. So there's different ways, I guess, to kind of measure it. It depends on the heart of the person that's doing it.
Right, you know, and what you were saying, using the analogy of rich people, you know what I mean? It's, and we all say it, yes, the average people, us middle classers, whoever, whatever, because that's the class that we're in, you know what I mean? So we're not in the wealthy class, you know what I mean? So we don't, you know what they go through, what, you know, their mindset, et cetera, et cetera. But let's just hypothetically say somebody, which we know we always have the, you know, what is it? The race that we always say has more money, the racial disparity. So I'm not trying to go there, but let's just say it doesn't matter who the person is. They can be a clear person. You know, you picture this person, they not stumble, but just happen to have or just come into $1 billion. That's a lot of money, right? And they choose to do whatever they want to do with it, right? And so what you were saying, that the greed, the last thing you said was that they choose not to share it, right? When the number is so high, and we're not saying that they don't, you know, and I'm pretty sure they have done the numbers. I haven't done the numbers, so I can't say, you know, but we know the percentage is a small number for the wealthy, meaning the billionaires, you know what I mean? Like, how many will it take to really say, okay, we lowered the ceiling, the debt ceiling for the United States? I don't know. I'm pretty sure somebody's done those numbers. You know what I mean? But, you know, compared to the so many people in the world, is it, you know, will it work? You know what I mean? So, I mean, we can't really say that they haven't given anything away. But when you make that much money, your money's gonna make money. So it's like, I can't even give away enough. You know what I mean? Because they got the taxes, they got to do all, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, who's to say they're not doing this thing, but they just keep getting richer. But of course, the poor keeps getting poorer. So great, I know that's a whole nother topic. But I'm just, you know, it's you know, my definition of greed, you know, definitely is what we all agree upon, that it's, you know, it's selfish. You know, like you said, it can't be used in a positive way, meaning we're going to be greedy for our family. You know what I mean? But we're not talking right, we're not talking wrong.
Right.
You know, just blatantly talking about people being greedy. And that's the way it's going to be. I mean, that's the way society or whatever it is. Say it was just this street, we all greedy. Nobody helps nobody else. We help ourselves. We help the family.
Yeah.
So we're greedy for that, you know, for, you know, being a family. But me and my definition is the same. You know, it's selfish. But, you know, I think I just see where, you know, it just depends on the environment that you're in terms of where you would know that, okay, we being greedy for us and it's working out. I mean, who knows? You know, we being greedy over here, it's not working out. And would it be evolution? I don't know, from humanity point, you know, perspective or whatever, point that
I think we all
doesn't work out
we
when
all
you're greedy.
experience some sort of greed.
Right.
That's exactly what I was
all
thinking.
have some
Right.
sort of greed
I
that
was
we
thinking.
take
My point
partake
exactly.
in. We all
So-
have some sort of fad or something that we really, you know, get into where
That's why I brought up
the money
my
doesn't
training.
matter.
Right.
You know, some things the money doesn't matter. We're
Exactly.
gonna do it anyway.
Exactly.
And when that becomes the case, then, you know, are we greedy or are we just pursuing our goals?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Mom, when you were talking. That I was like, I feel like now is you kind of think of it, then everybody has some greed. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, you know, I gotta do this. Okay, you know, now it's like, are you thinking about others? But now it's like, is that right or is that wrong? You know,
Right,
so
so
like you said, we're not
it's-
right and talking in the right.
We're not talking right or wrong,
Yeah,
right?
so
And
I
then
mean,
on that, that's that whole self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm being greedy for me, I'm trying to take care of me, self-care.
Yeah.
But don't dare to use the word greedy, but you trying to take care of you.
Well,
you want to go.
greedy at the time.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
say selfish
So-
at the time instead of
Right.
greedy.
Yeah.
But it's self-care in terms of you gonna take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
I wish there was a time, like I tell you guys, there was a time to be selfish. You know, when you have no responsibilities and you're going to
Yep.
get your goal
Yep.
and you're going to pursue something
Yep.
that you're really trying to get. There's no reason not to be greedy about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason not to be selfish about it because there's nothing supposed to be holding you back. So what are you waiting on? So things of that
It's
nature.
all on,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I was agreeing with you, and it's all on how you treat people along that path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You like they say that's hey, go be greedy, go whatever, but you ain't gotta go step on that person's toes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Intentionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you happen to just they say, hey, both two people y'all showed up at the same time. You when you get partner showed up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Corey got a job. Both of y'all were greedy.
Yeah.
You ain't step on his toes, he ain't step on your toes. You know what I mean? The way it is.
That's the way it is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes
Game,
sense.
baby.
It's
It's the game.
It's the
Don't
game.
hate the player, hit the game. So the question I have second to that is, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word perspective?
Individual. For me, perspective is I'm thinking about myself, unless I'm talking about somebody else, their perspective, but it's how I view and see things through the lens of, knowledge that I have.
Mm.
So if, I don't know, say talking about a friend or just whatever, and saying, hey, they're, honest people and, yeah. And somebody says, oh, no, they're not. I seen this and yeah. Hey, no. Through the knowledge that I know, this information that I have, my perspective is they're going to do the job. They're not going to do the job. They're a good person or, from what I know. So I say perspective for me is, how you see or how I see,
Well,
through the lens of knowledge and education.
I agree with you. It's based upon a lot of times what you know about something or the history that you've had in your past and things that you've gone through. So that sets you on a kind of a playing field
Right.
where you automatically have a certain amount of knowledge about a topic or something that you're already perceiving before the words even came out. Actually, you can just like if you say greed, we already have our perspective about it already based upon our history. What things that we've been through or whatever and how we look at it, based upon the negative and the positive that we've seen over the lives, So perspective is really just kind of saying, hey, am I willing to jump out of my skin for a second to give that right there a chance to live?
Absolutely.
That conversation or that idea or whatever,
Absolutely.
give it a chance to live because
Right.
you can kill it automatically.
Right.
So somebody's, I don't, because you don't
Right.
agree. Pow, you shot it down.
Right.
Even if you haven't said anything, you mentally turned it off.
Right.
So
Right.
it matters something in that case.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I guess like I make sure I completely agree, with both of y'all, and I try to make sure I try not to combine certain definitions sometimes when I think of perspective. And me, in my opinion, I think perspective is more like, in what, like you mentioned, like what lens do I look at something? So if I see, this table and say it's brown, your perspective, you might know it's green. You know what I mean? So I think that's just as simple as like that's your perspective. So like based upon your knowledge, what's going on, your organic makeup or whatever, however you want to, say it based upon who you are as a person and what you know, I think that can just boom influence perspective. And I think I wanna stop it there because then we go into something else when we talk about allowing for other perspectives to be, heard. Like you mentioned, so I was like, it's perfect. But I was like, I wonder if that's can go inside of just saying that's perspective versus looking at other perspectives and allowing those to be heard. So you can in the conversation and I'll be like, bow, shoot it down. I'm like, now I'm not allowing your perspective to be heard while, putting mine out there.
Right.
Dang, that's your perspective. Cool, great. But, you don't have to tear down mine. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what, so I definitely, I completely agree. I just wanted to, tag on to that a little bit because I think that was big because a lot of people, now through many different conversations, and you look at social media, that everybody has a perspective, everybody has an opinion, everybody wants to say it, but it shouldn't I guess it depends on the situation, but it shouldn't shoot somebody else's down. You shouldn't just be able to say your opinion and then not allow somebody else to say, somebody else to say theirs. Definitely. No, I completely agree. So, we're getting close to the end here. So I got, really 2 more questions to really ask y'all. So can you think of any changes that humanity can do to be better?
I went wrong last time.
Well, I think having some kind of control of the internet. I mean, right now, humanity is actually controlled by mostly the World Wide Web. So you can go up there and find anything. You can find a perspective. You can find an idea. You can find greed. You can find anything you want on the web. And so, with that being said, that means that usually people who are chasing ideas or dreams or things that they have no foundation with, they can end up anywhere. So I think the web has caused a lot of problems. So even with our young kids who are in school now, who are supposed to be in school now, who have so many reasons they can't get to school now or whatever, so that's going to be more of an implementation into their daily routine coming soon, because they have to be educated. So what is going on when our children, as well as our teenagers, as well as our adults, are watching screen all day and being educated by the web?
Yeah.
So we can't, I don't see us being able to really colonize or coming together with something that divides everybody. So we're going to have to find a way to be able to police that as well, to be able to, find a way, because if not, we're going to continue to be divided, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a good, I was gonna actually devil's advocate on you in the first part of your statement, but you brought it in with the division, because that's what the internet does. It does, not just the internet, just, division has been happening, we see that in the Bible, so it's kind of like inevitable, but I think in the beginning, they mean it just, whoever created the World Wide Web would just stick on the internet, really thought it was going to be for the better. Oh, you're in the United States. Oh, well, I'm over here in Africa and I can talk to, never had this happen before.
Yeah.
And now you can see that person. Oh my gosh, we can actually see and talk at the same time. Wow, this is, so you would have thought that would have connected to
closer,
be
right?
On the same page. Okay, now I'm closer. You're here and you're down there. Yeah, but we're closer, but we're not.
Right.
We're still heavily divided, So that's why I say you build it in with that division, because that's what it does. So I mean, I can't say, is there any hope? Because I'm all for hope. It's always going to be on that side of yes, there is hope. But like they mentioned, the internet is a strong tool. You know what I mean? But it just has to be something that's stronger.
Right.
And we already know that, we're out here to save souls and, for God, but man, it's just straight so much division, you know what I mean? But, with God, all things are possible. But, I just say, I'm hopeful, but something has to be very much stronger, and we already know there is. So that's why, we already know the end. We just got to go through this. For who's pleasing? We just got to go through this journey, this life.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the internet is definitely, it's a tool, but it's definitely controlling. It's definitely controlling. It's definitely it's policing. It's doing a lot of good. It's doing a lot of bad. And I definitely do have hope. But sometimes there's times where I'm like, I don't know if there is. It's like as a whole, I just don't. It's hard to see. And there's a show, the 100. We talked about where in the end, like end of the show, I'm kind of spoiling it, but it's okay. The show's been out for years.
I just watched it, but I hadn't been.
Yeah, but the last season, last season, around like last few episodes, it was a test to judge humanity, you know, and they pretty much came to the end goal as in, you guys fight too much. I can't let you, you know, ascend to whatever, you know, what you're supposed to be, because you're supposed to be one species, but you fight. You know, why are you always fighting, pretty much? And I was just thinking, I was like, that's so, you know, that's real. I mean, you can look at all the good that we've done, but at the end of the day, we fought. You know what I mean? That's what, you know, we still do. We're continuing to do it, you know, to this day as we're speaking, you know, this fighting happening. So that just, you know, when I look at it, I'm like, wow, like, and you look at the history, you really can't come back from. There's nothing you can really say that's like, well, you look at this. I think the amount of good is really, it's just it's a lot smaller than the amount of bad that we've done. I mean, you're talking about just taking a human life.
Right.
You know, it's just, I mean, you know, I would say, you know, there's forgiveness in that, depending on, you know, what you do and the steps you take after that. But it's just like, it's so drastic that, you know, sometimes I sit there and be like, I don't know.
Because it gets to the point where you start looking at it and wondering if people are doing things for power. And whoever has the most power has the most control, has the most rule, has the most money, and they can set the rules the way they want them to, and they can do whatever. So it's the fight for power, it looks like. And as long as we're here, it's like, it doesn't matter. You see the Democrats come up, you see the Republicans come up, and either way down right now, you don't have anybody to really vote for because everybody's fighting each other. And so there's no policies that are getting passed or anything. So we're in a place where, you know, right now nothing is getting done because we're so divided. So how about that?
Yeah.
Right in your face.
Right. Yeah, that's just the vision. It's huge.
Yeah,
It's I mean, you guys could see that just living at home. You know, we were all divided. Would anything really get accomplished? It would not work the same. From the kitchen schedule, from washing y'all clothes, all that, you know what I mean? So we're all on the same page.
Right.
So we're not divided. So it works. You know, but you take that and it's just, you know, it goes back. So like I was saying, if you were going to be greedy and, you know, everybody for themselves in the world, how long would that last? Who knows? Could last a long time, but you're all still divided.
Remind me of what the preacher said yesterday about Joshua. You know,
Yeah.
he wanted a lot, you know, wanted
Right.
a bigger size lot than anybody else. We can't take the same size lot everybody else is getting, you know, so that's what causes the feud.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
did more.
wasn't
I want more, you know,
Right.
things of that nature. you know.
Right.
So,
Or you just feel like you know, deserve more.
right.
Like you're entitled.
That's what
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the last question I have for you guys. So, say we live in a perfect world. You know, do you think it's possible for humans to live like that forever? Do you think the way humans are now, do you think if they were just like, boom, plop, perfect world, they're given, you know, necessary, all right, it depends on the way you see a perfect world anyway. But say, I look at it, let's put it in this perspective. You drop in a perfect world, I mean, you have to farm, you have to find a way to get food. Boom. But, you know, certain necessities kind of just, you work for, you know, what you get, and it's a fair, you know, type of living. You know, do you think that humans could stay like that?
Not in the mindset that they're in now.
Okay.
I like that answer.
So what about...
I like that answer because my answer was going to be no, because they don't have a book to guide them. You know, there's no guidebook. There's no Bible that they're using. You know, back when Adam and Eve were, you know, formed, you know, they had a instructor. You know, they had rules that they had to abide by in order to produce and reproduce and continue on their lifestyles or whatever and continue to grow.
Yeah.
We're not going to use anything in the future. Going to use the web, and the web is going to tell you something. It's going to tell mommy something. It's going to tell me something different. All of us going to be doing our own thing. So
Yeah, no, you're fine. You know, you said Adam and Eve. Didn't you?
yeah.
Okay. No,
So-
they had God, by the way.
Yeah.
They had God.
They had the guidebook. Yeah, they had the guidebook.
Yeah,
They had the
that's-
book.
God was
So
talking to
I want to ask,
them.
let's put it, so the movie WALL-E, right?
Mhm.
When all them people were fat, first of course they weren't fat. So would you call that a perfect world? They were everything they needed was there.
And everything they
They
did.
they wanted to work out, they could have, but yeah. So
Right. That's what I was trying to go back to.
Mhm.
Something like that in that perfect world. But again, your question, you said the way we are now being dropped. into
Yeah,
this
yeah,
perfect
nah, yeah, if we
world.
were dropped,
That's why
yeah,
I say it's
honestly,
not in this mindset.
not in this
It's
mindset,
not
right?
Couldn't be a perfect
Because
world.
even, we have what we need. We have the Bible. We have the good book. You know what I mean? We know. You know what I mean? And then some don't. But then some do that know, still won't. And it's just whatever. And this mindset, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
We struggled back
It's-
then, and they just had to listen to one person, God,
Right.
and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. It's just
We
too
got
much.
too much, too
Yeah.
much noise
Yeah.
everywhere, and you think it's possible now that we got
It-
ministers that are falling by the wayside who we're supposed to be listening to,
Right.
So it's just like people who are in position, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So now that we followers supposedly have to, who do we follow?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was
The
trying
web says anybody.
to think back to Wally. I can't remember I kind of remember the ending. Wally. You have to tell me, but
Yeah, I think the ending's when they came back to Earth.
because, like you said, that was like a perfect world for them, but there was still
Obesity.
right
And
obesity. But then
they were bored.
and they were bored, right? And I was just gonna say there was still a desire or curiosity of like, and they started walking. It was like, whoa, I'm like, you put my feet down here forever, like really?
Yeah.
So it's just the mindset that we have now is just too much information. It's just too much, and it's a blessing. Don't get me wrong. It's God gave us His brain, etc. But the information and what we know, what we think we know, perfect world.
The imperfect immediately.
Real-
Just because
real
I
quick.
mean, think about the last days. I mean, if there was
Real
a perfect, if that, just think about the movie. If that was possible, then at the end of the day, when people are dying and people are, are doing things that are not legal, in which I know everybody did not become all of a sudden non-sinners.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens then? Who becomes the judge then?
Right.
And then at the end of the day, who judges the judge? So it gets a little bit, it's almost impossible to have a perfect world when you have no perfect person that can judge,
Right.
and set the rules.
So that kind of goes back to if so I don't know if y'all seen the white guy Cliff that kind of talks to in public at like universities or whatever to like kids, like college kids, and they talk about like God, and they ask like if God is so good, like why did He create bad? And then he pretty much goes and said God never created bad. He just said when God is here and it was good, bad was just there. Like it was just came into bad came into existence when good came into existence. Just like you can't have light without dark, you can't have dark without light. Like you wouldn't know what good is if you don't know what bad is. So it's like you can't have, I guess in that sense, you can't have something that's perfect because you wouldn't know it's perfect.
No, right?
You would have no idea that it's perfect. So that truly makes sense.
It's
You can
back
have
to
something that's
the
all good.
education, like I was saying with the mindset, that we know too much.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, when you know too much, it's
They didn't know they couldn't get off that little float thing and use them legs.
Well, then that's mental slavery as well. That means that everybody will have to get the same education at the same level, at the same knowledge of everything. Everything that is this wired. You're wired to think this way because I need you to know the same thing, and that's because in order for us to be perfect, we have to be on the same page. That means
and then
you
we just wouldn't be human.
You can't have one person back here out here, reading a magazine.
Yeah.
See now, we're not perfect because one person
That's faulty
is
right
out of
there.
line. Because one person just went out of line. There we go.
Malfunction, yeah, exactly. Because in that sense, it sounds like robots pretty much. Like you put them on the assembly line, you learn this, like, and you end up going read a magazine, you malfunction,
Right.
you take it to
I
Go.
was gonna
got to go.
credit the movie creator.
Yeah.
That's exactly
The
what
creator,
they were doing. So, he's faulty, shoot him. It was a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow,
He did.
okay. And was it a human that felt sorry for? Yeah, the girl. She was a human, and she was like, no, but it looks so real, but it's a robot.
Yeah.
But she had her compassion. No, it's real. It looks real. No, it's a robot.
Yeah.
So that right there, just those two connections and that dynamic of her compassion, feeling empathy for what we know as humans, it's a robot that there's 1,000 a dozen right behind this one. You know what I mean? But she wouldn't have felt that way if it was a human or nobody. Like, oh God, you just shot a human. Like, okay, if we not moving on, the whole world, it's just a total. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. I get it. We can get connected to things that we like, but at the end of the day, especially I'm talking about the movie Creator, by the way. That is a robot.
Yeah.
You know, like, do people really? When me and Daddy watched, I was like, babe, that could have been my robot that gave me massages every day, cleaned the house, that, you know,
Talk to.
it talked to, and was just, you know, and okay,
Time to cut it off.
time to cut it off. You know what I mean?
Well, whatever.
Yeah, and I can't say I'm not gonna
Deuces.
feel sad. Of course, emotions will be there. But if he asks, I got your permission to shoot the bird. Yes, you do. You got. But at the end of the day, that a robot is not gonna trump the humanity. It's just not gonna.
Just like having a dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it moving. Let's go. Next topic. Don't want to get in trouble.
But no, I think that's real. And that's what kind of makes humanity so special. Because, like you said, you know, I said, you know, we're not all the same. It's, you know, there's something, you know, unique about us. There's something that's unique that you know, some can be cultivated and be
Right.
something that's really good. It can be really not perfect, but it can be really good. But also there's, you know, there's bad, but you know,
Yeah.
being able to be good within all the bad is,
Right.
you know, it's special. Because without all this uniqueness in us, we wouldn't be who we are.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
that's really real. So
Yeah. And you said it with uniqueness. That's the difference. You know, there's no unique robot. Even though you can customize. You know what I mean? But there's going to be a lot of humans that are really going to be vouching for. That movie was really deep. You know,
Yeah,
it's
that
going to
was
vouch. They're like, oh, I'm choosing a robot instead of
because
That's
you know
what's
the robot gonna
That's
be
what's
loyal.
sad.
The robot gonna be this.
right, because of all those attributes and
Exactly.
characteristics this robot got.
Right.
You gonna choose that robot over human? That's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really sad.
It's, do y'all have anything else you want to say to the audience, to me, whoever?
I don't. This was fun. Had a good
Yeah, had a
time.
good time. Enjoyed it. Well, you know, the topic was
Kinda knew
great.
what to expect.
Because kind of was, you know,
I can't say it was great.
apprehensive on the topic itself, but it was good. You know,
it was good.
to be able to, you know, talk about humanity and how it is now and how it's going to be in the future, and looking at it now and actually just talking about it, or on a broader, you know, span.
Yeah.
Now narrowing it down and just having a really serious conversation about it.
Right. Right.
And it's scary.
Right.
You know, it's something to think about.
Absolutely.
That, you know, as well as it's hopeful.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because we have to be in it and we have to live in it. So it gives us some ideas to know that we have to make some changes now to help to, you know, preserve, you know, Earth.
Yeah.
If possible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do what I can.
Yeah, I'm definitely hopeful, scared, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. So,
Awesome.
yeah, but I definitely appreciate y'all coming on the show,
Thank you.
talking. You
Yeah.
know, it was great having y'all. I know we had a great conversation. I hope y'all, you know, got something from it.
Yeah.
So I definitely did.
Yeah.
And I thank y'all for tuning in. You know, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Right. Deuces.